I love striking. I love the feeling of it, moving around, the hitting pads, hitting people. You know what I mean? I just like there's something about it.
Were you a fighter when you were a kid? Did you scrap?
I was a pathological fighter.
Were you really? Yeah.
Dude, I almost got like kicked out. I was like a straight A student.
Okay.
And they almost kicked me out of school because I was getting in fights all the time.
Wow. Yeah.
My kid would like call me like a name in a two-hand touch football game, and I would just pop it. Like, I don't know, man. It's kind of like, remember the Supreme Court definition of porn? It's like I'm not gonna define it, but like you know it when you see it.
I like that. There's your clip. That's the highlight reel clip. Hello everybody and welcome to Between Rounds, presented by Guerrilla Energy. I'm Dan Hardy and I am joined by one half of one of the best fights on this card, one of the best fights on every single PFL card that we have, Sullivan Cauley. I've been excited to talk to you, my friend, because we've had a couple of conversations fight week, and every time I talk to you, I get a new insight to you, right? You're very cerebral. You've got a real technical approach to the game. You've got quite a sensible approach. I mean, we were just talking about weight cutting before we hit record on the camera. Just touch on that, because we're not a massive fan of big weight cuts, neither of us.
Right. Yeah. I'm not a believer in pushing the limits of the weight cut. And I think you see this thing in this sport where guys are really, really proud of how much they cut, and they're bragging about how much they're putting on post refeed and all that. And like, I get it. You want to be big. Everybody wants to be big, but there are limits to how much the human body can recover from that severe dehydration episode.
Yeah.
And your kidneys, your brain, are like, if you're really pushing them to the limit, I don't think you're going to be at your best in the fight. So you got to find out where that balance is for you. I think it might be different for every person, but I have a great strength and conditioning guy, Jason Kamens. He worked with Ryan Bader before me, and he programs my cuts and my refeeds, and I feel like we've got it down to a science, and it really works well for me.
That seems like a really important thing, is having a relationship with someone that knows what they're doing. You know what I mean? 'Cause especially so many fighters, they come into fight week without that guidance.
Yeah, and guys that come from wrestling where like they really never had that, and they're just like gritting their teeth and like
just suffer.
Yeah.
Just suffer. Yeah. Has it changed for you over the years? From previous years where you were competing in wrestling and stuff, all the way into mixed martial arts. Was there a point where you were like, hang on a minute, this weight cutting thing's not working right for me?
I never did massive weight cuts.
Really?
I never did it. When I was growing up in youth wrestling, my dad basically forbid it.
Oh, okay.
And then, I'd obviously would cut weight, and, I would cut like the same amount, I would say I'm cutting now, but I'm just better at it now.
Yeah.
I was just doing it wrong. But you know what I mean? Like now we have this scientific approach, and, a couple hours after the refeed starts, I'm just like blown up with water and energy, and I'm like, let's go. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What were your early impressions of MMA as a sport before you got involved in it?
I was just a huge fan.
Yeah.
As a kid, it's like everything you see on TV, you just immediately want to be. You know what I mean?
I want to be a Ninja Turtle.
Yeah. I guess I kind of am trying to be a Ninja Turtle when I think about it.
Yeah, exactly. So who did you watch? Who sticks in your mind?
I watched the whole Pride catalog, not live, but like I was just, you know what I mean?
So good.
I remember I particularly loved Kevin Randleman for some reason. I think it's because he's such a great athlete, and rest in peace, Kevin Randleman. I never met him, but I heard he's a great guy.
Yeah.
And then my dad was always big on supporting local athletes. So I was from Reno, so like we watched every Ryan Bader fight. Everybody who was playing in the NFL or the MLB from our area, like we always watched them. So.
Okay. So did you feel close to the guys that were fighting out of Vegas then, the likes of Frank Mir and people like that?
No, because Vegas is like 7 hours away from Reno.
Okay, so it feels so far.
Yeah, people always assume because I've been to Vegas a lot because that's Vegas is a great place to host tournaments and things like that. But people always assume because you're from Nevada, you got to be somewhere around Vegas, and like I'm like in another world in Reno.
That's crazy. I mean, I passed through Reno one time before, but like whenever you think of Reno, I always think it's just like a little Vegas.
Yeah.
And does it feel different? Is it a different kind of town?
God, it's so different.
Is it? Yeah.
If you see downtown Reno, I go through this with people all the time because I'm like, I'm from Reno, and they're like, I'm sorry, and I'm like. I see where you're coming from, because if you just go to downtown Reno, it is kind of gross.
Yeah.
It's like aging casinos and like, you know what I mean? But, if you're a local, like you're really not spending time downtown at the casinos. Like Reno's a great place with a lot of beautiful scenery and outdoor activities, and like it's just a regular town with
Yeah.
good people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. So are you outdoors a lot when you're not training then? Are you an outdoors guy?
Yeah. I mean, I love to hunt. I hunt as much as basically as the government will let me. Yeah.
For food, so are you like stocking your freezers with that?
100%. Yeah. I'm not killing stuff that I'm not going to eat.
Yeah. So what's your preferred meat then? What you're hunting?
Elk, deer, pronghorn antelope, upland birds like chukar and quail.
Yeah.
You know, I kind of have a dream one day to do a moose hunt, but it's sort of one of those things. Hunting is very heavily regulated, and for good reason, because we need to preserve the species. So, you know, you have to apply for tags, or you have to buy tags at like a very premium price. So, you know, some of these hunts are not available to you very often.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's why I joked that I hunt as often as the government will let me.
Yeah.
Because like you're applying for the lottery or this, that, and the other. You know?
Yeah, yeah. Do you find you have a better relationship with your diet and with the food, given the fact that you source it in that way? Because it's not something that's really available to me in the UK. I have a few friends that hunt up in Scotland. But
Right.
It's not really it's not really available in the UK. And I've
No,
always
and you guys
liked the
don't really
idea
have.
of-
You don't really have public land.
Not really.
Like we do
No,
here,
we have like reserves and stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's not for hunting.
Yeah, and like the whole public land thing in America, I think is such a flex. I think it's one of the best things about this country is that you have land that like belongs to you, belongs
Yeah.
to the taxpayer, that you
Yeah.
can go use. You know, you still have to follow the law. You have to do it responsibly. But like,
Yeah.
you know, a lot of places, including like even Texas, don't really have that. And I think the people who enjoy the outdoors suffer because of it. And to answer your question about the food, absolutely, like harvesting your own food, killing your own meat, definitely like changes your mindset on it, and it's really fun, man. Eating the meal after the hunt, or even just seeing the animal on the wall. Like people who get weirded out by it. Oh, you have a trophy on your wall. What's up with that? But you got to realize every time I walk past that deer head on the wall, I'm taken back to my memories of that hunt, to how my buddy and I really, really struggled to get up that mountain, or how we shot this thing right before dark and had to cut it up in the dark and pull it off this mountain in the freezing cold rain. You know what I mean? Like you get to relive that every time you see that trophy, and that to me is what the trophy is.
Yeah, it's different to arguing over a parking spot at Whole Foods, isn't it?
It's definitely
got a
is.
different kind
It
of vibe
definitely
to
is.
it.
And a lot of people don't realize, you know, if you're eating meat, somebody's killing it.
Yeah,
That's just
of course.
the fact of the world, right?
Of course. And I'd much rather that meat be roaming wild up until
Yeah.
the point where it is,
Right.
you know, on the plate.
And like if you never heard, like I always joke, one of the only things the government does well is manage game species. Because like, you know, the populations, since they've started managing species and hunting the way we do, have like generally grown. They're
Yeah.
doing well.
Yeah.
You know, they don't hand out tags if the population can't sustain it. Things like that.
Right,
You know?
right. So what's a training camp diet meal then? What's a go-to after a good training session? Say on a sparring day where usually people have a few more calories. What would you serve
I do
up?
a ton of carbs.
Really? Yeah.
At my size, I'm eating like 500 grams of carbs a day.
Really? And what are you
know
getting
I
in
mean?
with carbs? Rice and bread and that kind
It's
of
like
stuff?
rice. My wife makes homemade sourdough, which
Oh, that
is
sounds
incredible. Yeah, very carb dense, incredibly good. So yeah, a lot of protein, a lot of carbs. We try to keep the fats a little lower and try to keep it to healthier fats. And then on weight cut week, we kind of do the opposite. Protein stays high. We basically eliminate the carbs, which sucks. 'Cause my body's so used to running on them.
Yeah.
And then we bump the fat up, so I'm not starving myself. You know.
Yeah, yeah. So talk to me about how your game's changed as you've moved into MMA and away from wrestling. Because there are a lot of people, I mean, your opponent this weekend would be a good example of someone that is, their whole game is anchored into wrestling.
Right.
You know what I mean? Whereas
Yeah.
for you, you discovered punching power and seemingly, you know, have got wrestling in the back pocket if you need it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That
right.
seems like the preferable position to be in as an MMA fighter.
Yeah, I agree. I got into MMA, and I started training with Danny Brandt, my striking coach, and I really just fell in love with striking. In a way, I don't think I ever really loved wrestling. I wrestled because I was good at it, and I like to wrestle, I like to compete, but I love striking. I love the feeling of it, the moving around, the hitting pads, hitting people. You know what I mean? I just like, there's something about it that
Yeah.
really speaks to me. So there was that, and then I just kind of discovered that I had this like gift of like, you know, explosiveness and being able to put people out. And you know, so the style just kind of developed based off of that. And like you said, we stay wrestling. We did a lot of wrestling with a lot of great wrestlers this camp. Aaron Brooks, a 4-time national champ from Penn State. Colton Schultz is a world champion in Greco. So like we were working hard on the wrestling. But I feel really confident in my striking, and I just love the game, you know?
Yeah. Where do you think that power comes from? Do you think it's from your wrestling, or were there other sports that you played? Were you a pitcher or anything?
I was a baseball player.
Okay, right.
I think it's almost like a different kind of like athleticism than like a lot of wrestlers have. A lot of wrestlers is like
they seem quite stiff in the midsection,
stiff and strong.
Yeah.
I got a little more finesse and like snap, I would say.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know where it comes from. Just kind of got lucky.
So it kind of worked out well that you found wrestling first then, because if you'd have found striking first, you probably
I would have been like, I'm not getting in that singlet.
Were you a fighter when you were a kid? Did you scrap?
I was a pathological fighter.
Were you really? Yeah.
Dude, I almost got like kicked out. I was like a straight A student.
Okay.
And they almost kicked me out of school because I was getting in fights all the time.
Wow. See, normally wrestling kind of anchors people and gives them an outlet, but it didn't really work
I don't
for
know.
you.
I was just nuts. I'm just kind of like have an aggressive streak.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like as an adult, I've become a man and I've gotten into fighting. Like I really learned where to put that and like channel it in a healthy way. But as a boy, it was just hard for me to control.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My kid would like call me like a name in a two-hand touch football game, and I would just pop it. Like, I don't know, man.
I wouldn't guess that of you. You just seems like such a kind of calm, mild-mannered person. But
Dude,
I guess
it drove my mom crazy.
Really, yeah.
She's like, "You're a smart kid. You're good, like well-behaved." You know what I mean? Like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah. Was it you were just competitive? You just high energy? Do you think?
Just competitive, and just competitive. I just kind of always had a mean streak, I guess.
Yeah. So at what point did you realize that the best thing to do with that was channel it into martial arts?
I think once I started fighting, I felt it. As soon as I started fighting in competition, like there's a difference between wrestling and fighting. Wrestling's a great sport, and I would say it's a combat sport, but it's not a fight.
Yeah.
Like a jiu-jitsu match is not a fight.
Yeah.
And like
So is a boxing match a fight?
Dude, don't be ridiculous. A boxing match is a fight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I've had this argument with people. I'm like,
well, no, it's always an interesting one because I wonder where the line is. You know what I mean? Because
I think the line is
boxing
hitting
a fight.
each other in the head.
Okay. So then, is the fight specific to the striking element? Because like, you know, people, you gotta fight for this game. You know, you gotta fight to win, and it's like there's a like. The word fight and an actual fight are not necessarily different things. Like the word fight is like you struggle against it. Like in wrestling, you would fight your opponent.
Epistemological argument about the meaning of fighting.
Well, you know, we can get into some semantics if you want.
This has gotten philosophical. Yeah, I don't know. I try not to think too hard about it. I think if you're just if you're not getting too cerebral about it, you kind of know. It's kind of like, remember the Supreme Court definition of porn? It's like, I'm not gonna define it, but like, you know it when you see it.
I like that. There's your clip. That's the highlight reel clip. So tell me about your fight this weekend. We're weight cut day right now, so most likely you'll start weight cutting tonight or tomorrow morning?
We'll start tonight and then finish tomorrow morning. I used to do more of it the night before. And I think recently we've kind of decided, because we haven't had issues with like coming down to the wire and not being able to get the weight off, that we're going to save more for the morning, just kind of spending less time
dehydrated.
Yeah,
for sure. And your opponent, tell me about him. Good wrestler?
I mean, I think he's pretty tough, right?
Yeah.
He's a great wrestler, I would say even. Like you said, I think his style is very solidly anchored in wrestling. I'm not gonna say he's completely one-dimensional. I mean, he'll rip that overhand and crack you if you're not paying attention. You know, I think he's a tough guy. I think it could be a really tough fight where I'm having to defend a lot of wrestling, and we're kind of both getting tired in the grappling exchanges, and then having to strike after that.
Yep.
But you know, I kind of see myself being able to wear him down, being able to make him spend energy trying to wrestle me, and being able to crack him after that. You know, if I don't flatline him early. One of the things is like every time I fight, there's always a chance I just level somebody in like 30 seconons. So that would be cool, but I'm not going to bank on that.
Does it surprise you at this point? Have you kind of gotten used to it? You know what I mean?
think it kind of surprises me every time.
Really?
You know what I mean? Like hit somebody and their eyes roll back and you're like, oh.
Yeah. It's weird when you see someone that's got that power.
Dude, yeah, but we're going to try to be a little more patient in that PFL finals last year, I cracked shoe face, and I just like saw that $500,000 hit in my bank account. And I just charged in there and impaled myself on an up kick, dude.
You have to have those memories to laugh at, though, you know.
Yeah, well, and that's part of what we talk about. We talk about experience in fighting, right?
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
you pick up little things like that as you go. And I'm like, you know, I might not be the youngest guy anymore. I'm 30, but like I am still very much like learning and getting better in this sport. You know?
It's always unfortunate that when you have to learn those lessons on that kind of stage, you know what I mean? It's like don't throw the same technique 3 times in a row. I learned that co-main event in London, you know what I mean?
Right.
And got knocked out for it. And it just, but the good thing is it stays with you, doesn't it? And it does change the way that you approach
Because it
fights.
hits you at an emotional level.
Yeah.
It sticks with you.
But you seem to be able to take it in your stride. You've got good humor about it, which some people struggle with.
I've come a long way, and I definitely struggle with defeat and with failure, probably more than the average bear. But you know, life is pretty good for me right now. You know what I mean? I'm back to fighting. I just had a daughter recently.
Congratulations.
A great wife. Thank you. It's like, you know, if you let this stuff stick in your craw for too long, this is so counterproductive.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling good with the lessons I've learned and with how my camp went and where my skills are at and where my conditioning and athleticism is at. I'm just dialed in, you know?
Yeah. You seem, do you seem to compartmentalize the combat sports element of your life?
That's something I feel like recently I have really been able to do a lot better.
Okay.
And something I really struggled with before, where I had my whole identity wrapped up in being a fighter.
Yeah.
And you know, one of the things I noticed about Ryan Bader, and like you pick up, Bader's kind of one of those guys who like will lead and mentor you, like not so much with like advice, but you'll learn just by watching him. You know what I mean? And one of the things I really noticed about Bader was he's an elite fighter, a great athlete, but like in his mind, he's not a fighter. He's like, that's what he does as his job and he loves it, but like he's just Ryan, he's a guy, he's a dad, he's a buddy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's something I think does extremely well, and it's probably a big part of his success. And that's something I think I've really been able to do lately, just like you said, compartmentalize a little bit between work and everything else.
Yeah. Do you think that's because your family's growing, or is that because you have other things that you can kind of use to pull yourself away from?
I think that's definitely part of it. I think part of it is just a little age and maturity.
Yep.
I think part of it is experience, probably. I don't know. There's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah. What about stuff? What about recreational stuff? Movies, music, other sports that you like to watch or play? You had a really good walkout song last time, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I like the classics, man. I kind of listen to the same music my mom does.
Yeah,
which is
I was
funny.
the same. Fleetwood Mac, Dire Straits. That was my mom's
I like
music.
that like 70s era of rock.
Okay.
Is kind of my jam. I also like a lot of like the 90s like thrash metal stuff.
I have a whole selection of T-shirts. This guy.
I've seen your T-shirts.
I'm switching them through all the time.
We could hang out and listen to some
We'll
music
do
for
another
sure.
podcast on music.
Yeah.
What your bands? What you listen to?
I like Pantera a lot.
Come on.
Yeah, dude, the angriest
Come on.
music of all
I
time.
love Pantera. We saw him a little while ago in the UK. Obviously,
yeah.
you know the
Dimebag,
brothers
of
have
course,
died,
yeah.
but it was nice. It was like a tribute show.
Was it?
You know, because last time I saw Phil Anselmo was like 25 years ago, and he was just hammered drunk.
Right.
Empty bottle of Jack Daniels in his hand, cussing at the crowd.
Yeah. Just
This
off the
version
rails.
was like the more mature version that appreciates where he's
Yeah.
at and what he's got. You know what I mean?
That's nice.
Yeah, it was really good to see him. Do you listen to that stuff while you're training?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the stuff I got into when I was an angry kid. Okay. It really spoke to me.
Yeah, Pantera is the one.
There was another question before we got onto the music. I forget what it was.
We were talking about just kind of like other sports you played or movies that you would like to watch.
Oh yeah, I'm a big reader.
Are you really? Yeah.
Yeah, I used to sit and look at my phone for like 45 minutes before bed every night, and I just replaced it with reading.
Nice.
And I'm just like crushing books, and like it's just so much better for me. Sleeping so much better.
Fiction, non-fiction.
Fiction.
Okay.
Emphatically fiction.
Yeah,
Non-fiction is boring as hell.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah,
I like
everybody
it,
thinks if
non-fiction.
you're reading fiction, it's just for funsies. You're not getting anything out of it, but that's not true.
Yeah. No.
If you're reading
absolutely.
great fiction, you're learning arguably more because you're understanding it on an emotional level, right?
Yeah.
Your brain is built to understand stories above all else. Your own life is a story to you. So like, that's why the Bible's written as a story.
Yeah.
It's how our minds work. So, if you read great fiction, you learn constantly.
Will you write a book at some point?
I'm thinking maybe.
Yeah.
I'm kind of working on it.
I think you should.
I used to write magazine articles.
Okay. Yeah, nice.
And I really miss I really missed writing. So I've kind of been toying around with a little idea. I don't want to get into it right now. But
For another interview,
Yeah.
you definitely should. Yeah. It was funny because I've got a few drafts of different things I'm working on.
Oh, really?
One of mine is, so I'm writing a book for my teenage version of myself called My Pet Reptile. And it's like how you deal with your brain as it's changing through your teenage years. You want to punch everybody in the face. You want to yell at everybody. You want to be angry at stuff. And just kind of understanding how, because like the whole reptilian thing, we'll get into it another time, but my autobiography is called Part Reptile, as in like a part of my brain is functioning on a reptilian level, but not all of it.
in some sense out of your control, right?
Sometimes it's out of my control, sometimes it makes bad decisions, So like the idea of like understanding that there's this cross chatter in your brain, that's the book I was working on a little while ago. But you've just reminded me of it, so I might pick it back up again.
Pick it back up.
Yeah. And I definitely think you should write a book, for sure. Yeah. Anyone that reads a lot should definitely write. Absolutely.
Yeah, if nothing else, just as an exercise, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Right. We've got these questions. So these are people that we've had on the show previously. They're all kinds of good questions. Just pick one of those out and read it to me. It should tell you who asked the question as well.
This one's from Impa.
Nice.
If you could go back into the past, what would you say to yourself before your first fight ever? That's a good question. What would you say to yourself before your first fight ever?
Set the stage for me. Where and when was the first fight? Pro.
Oh, first pro fight. It was in Bellator, in Connecticut at the Mohegan Sun during COVID.
Okay.
So like
No
crowd.
Okay.
Like complete physical distancing, mask, everybody test, the whole thing. So
Weird.
it was kind of weird.
Yeah.
But it was kind of sweet because your first pro fight, you're kind of freaking out, and there was no crowd in there. It was like a sparring session. It was kind of nice.
Yeah.
Oh, what would I tell myself, man?
You must have learned a lot since that point.
I've kind of learned so much.
Can you remember the state of mind you were in?
Yeah, I was confident, but I was, like I said, freaking out. I'd just be like, relax, little buddy. It's gonna be okay.
Little buddy.
It's gonna be all right. Your skills are good. Everything's dialed in. You're in shape. Like, there's nothing to freak out about. You're gonna be good.
Yeah.
And I went and I won by knockout in like 28 seconds.
Nice. It's always an interesting question that, what would you have said to yourself? Like, I often ask it if someone's having a rematch with someone that they've previously fought. In fact, Impa, and what would you have said to yourself before the first Johnny Eblen fight if you could go back? And I always think, what would it have been like? You're in that situation, your first fight, and all of a sudden, an older version of you just walks in, little buddy, with some information for you.
Yeah.
That'd have been weird, wouldn't it?
That's not the one I would pick because it went so well.
Okay. So tell me one that you would have picked then. What would you?
I would say let's go back to the finals last year.
Okay.
I think just like if I had come out with the approach I had against Phil, against Shoeface, I think it would have been a different fight. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was the money or if it was. I don't know what it was, but I kind of just like planted my feet in front of that guy and I was like, I'm gonna knock you out. I was like, I'm just gonna buzzsaw through this motherfucker.
Yeah.
And it just turned into like a barroom brawl, which is not how I fight. You know what I mean? I can fight that way, obviously, but like, it's just like shit is unpredictable.
Yeah.
And that's not to take anything away from Shoeface, but I think a little change of approach, a little more technical, a little more tactical, and we might just have a completely different fight there.
Yeah. But it's a bump in the road and we keep going and we're here right now.
Exactly.
Awesome stuff.
We're here, we're in shape, we're almost down to weight.
So what? He's in shape. We're not in shape. Let me just make that clear.
Yeah, you fighting at 205 soon?
Man, if I started camp at 205 as a welterweight, I was happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it was back in the day. No. I should have been a lightweight in
You
hindsight.
hit your left hook. You had a light heavyweight left hook. If I
Yeah,
remember
I was
correctly.
kind of coasted on it though, you know what I mean? That's why Condit knocked me out, because I threw it at him 3 times in a row.
Right.
You know, you just kind of...
Live by the left hook, die by the left hook.
Exactly that, yeah, exactly that. I died by it a few times. Trained with Paul Daly, he had a hell of a left hook.
Yeah,
Dude, this was a really good conversation. I've enjoyed this. We'll have to do this again.
I would love to.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much for your time. So this was presented by Gorilla Energy. Make sure you check some of this out. This has been Between Rounds. He's been Sullivan Cauley. Great look this weekend. And
you.
I've been Dan Hardy, and we'll see you after the next one.